Support for Sports Page is provided by the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jennies emblem clothing, gifts, and UCN memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower level of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.
Coming up on Sports Page, Mules basketball has won 7 straight games. The Mules are currently second in the MIAA. Men's head basketball coach Kim Anderson joins us in studio to talk about their recent MIAA matchup.
And Jennies basketball is coming off a win on the road with another away game ahead. I'll catch up with head coach Dave Slifer to see how the Jennies are doing. All of that and more is straight ahead on this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page.
Welcome to Sports Page. I'm Alex Greenlee.
And I'm Devin Negretti. In our Sports Page Spotlights this week, we'll meet with junior wrestler Frank Cagnina and view footage from the 30th reunion of the Mules and Jennies 1983-84 NCAA Division II Basketball Championship.
But first, our sideline reporter Katie Bailey has the highlights from the MIAA matchup on the road against the Lindenwood Lions.
I'm Katie Bailey, and I'm reporting today in the Highland Arena in St. Charles, Missouri, where the UCM Mules played against the Lions of Lindenwood University. Let's take a look at the highlights. Dylan Deck sends a tip-off to Dalen Robinson. Dalen puts up a shot, and Hammer grabs a rebound for 2. Great start to the game for the Mules, really showing their teamwork early. Robinson passes to Preston Bruns, who makes the 3. Very clean shot to the hoop by Preston. Charles again making his presence known down low. Robinson was a strong leader this first half. He really brought a lot of points to the game, making consistent 3s over the Lions. He also showed teamwork, setting up other players for 3s. John Gillum putting up 3 for the team. John always takes his time with his shots. TJ White coming in hot with a layup. The younger guys really make an impact on the team. Kyle Wolf and Jordan Epps shows great teamwork to make that 3. TJ White makes another 2 points in the paint. The first half was a defensive game. The Mules led by 10. Dalen Robinson made good use of his speed, cutting the basket for 2 points. Brendan Hughes plays a good first half. He makes a layup, as well as Charles Hammer. Epps there again, a freshman off the bench. Jordan Epps plays a key role in this game. With the Lions only down by 3, the Mules really start to play a more aggressive second half. Keying in on their starters like Charles Hammer, who makes a beautiful 3. Epps really knows how to carry a ball. He's quick with the decision. Great 2-point shot from Epps. TJ White, always an aggressive player, really knows how to put up some points. Epps and White are new to the Mules basketball team, but they've really made a great impact on the guys. The game got intense as the score got closer between the Mules and the Lions. That did not break the Mules, though. They came back second half really wanting to win and not letting anything stand in their way. You could see the excitement and just the anticipation from the crowd and the players. The Mules really wanted victory, and you could tell that every point they put up as a team fired them up even more. A lot of great teamwork shown between Hamrick, Bruns, and Robinson. Robinson making a 3-shot. He made 11 3-point shots against the Lions. Galen once again showing great patience and passing to Bruns, who shoots a beautiful 3-pointer to end the game.
Joining us today is Charles Hamrick. Charles, great game today.
Thank you, thank you.
You're very welcome. What was your attitude coming into the game today, knowing that you guys have already defeated Lindenwood twice before?
Really, they made a promo commercial, like video about us, and we really had a chip on our shoulder about last year's game when they beat us at the buzzer. So really, we just had a chip on our shoulder from that.
This is your first of 3 games this weekend on the road. How much does it mean for you guys to win?
Really, we trying to win a conference tournament, and in order for us to win that, we have to win on the road. And we know these 3 road games is very important for us.
Absolutely, it definitely is. You guys really caught a spark the second half. What lit you guys up?
I think Coach A got after us in the locker room. We wasn't playing hard. In the beginning, we came out strong, and everything was easy, falling into our hands. And in the second half, they came out and played, but we had to counter on it.
Any last comments about the game today?
It was just a good team effort, good team win.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Charles. Reporting for SportsPage, I'm Katie Bailey.
The Mules are now 21-4 on the season, 13-3 in the MIAA. Robinson had a good game with 19 points. The Mules are also second in the conference standings. Joining us now to talk Mules basketball is men's head basketball coach Kim Anderson. Coach, I'm really glad to have you on.
Alex, good to be back.
Good. I'm really glad to have you here. Now, Lindenwood, you guys won 82-76. How are you guys having 4 people do so well in such a game of such stature?
Well, you know, this team all year has been a group that different guys have stepped up in every game. You know, this game I thought Jordan Epps gave us a great lift off the bench, and obviously Dalen made some great plays down the stretch, and you know, Charles was good, and TJ White again was very, very active, had a lot of energy. So you know, with this team, and it's one of the great things I think about coaching this group is there's 10, 11 guys that play every night, and you know, someone seems to step up and make plays. And you know, in this particular game, it was Jordan. You know, I thought he gave us a great spark in the second half when we needed it. We were struggling a little bit, and you know, he ran off about 5 points in a row and made a couple nice passes.
Well, certainly, and he played well. A lot of people on your team played well. Dalen Robinson was 8 of 14 from the field. He had 19 points. Why was he so effective again?
Well, I think we did a great job of setting him up. And Dalen's really good with the ball. I mean, he's in a shot clock situation, you know, where it's running down. You know, he's a guy you can give the ball to and set a screen for him, and he can make a play, whether it be for him or whether it be for someone else. And in this game, he made them more for him. You know, he was able to get some jump shots down. I know he made a nice pass late in the game for a layup. So he doesn't get rattled. He doesn't, you know, when the shot clock gets to 7, he doesn't think, well, I got to shoot right now. He can play that thing down to about 1 or 2 and make a play. So great performance by him, especially down the stretch when we really needed to get some buckets.
Absolutely. Charles Hamrick and TJ White both had 14 points. TJ White was 8 of 10 from the line. How was he able to get down to the line so much, Coach?
Well, he takes the ball the whole lot. You know, he plays very, very aggressively. We call him an energy guy. He's a guy that comes off the bench and really creates activity. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But most of the time it's good. And the really encouraging thing, I think, for him was he stepped up to the line and made free throws. And that's something he had struggled with. And, you know, toward the end of the game, they were fouling him purposely. And he stepped up to the line, made a couple free throws, and that kind of made that strategy not work very well. So, you know, if he can continue to add that to his game, I think that'll make him an even more valuable guy.
It seems like a theme with you guys, but you had 36 points in the paint. Lindenwood over Lindenwood's 14. How are you guys able to score so many points in the paint?
Well, we want to get the ball in the paint. You know, I think we even said this last week. You know, I'm not very smart, but the closer you get to the basket, the better your percentage is. We have guys that can take the ball to the hole. You know, Dalen takes it to the hole. Chuck can take it to the hole. Obviously, TJ's a guy that can drive the ball to the basket. And then our post presence good with Dylan Deck, Brennan Hughes, Sean O'Brien, Ryan Donald, those guys. Now, Dylan didn't have a great scoring game, but Brennan came in and gave us 6 or 7 points. So our strategy really in every game is to try to get the ball inside, try to play inside out as opposed to just coming down and shooting jump shots.
Shooting jump shots, clearly. Now, off the bench, your team was a combined for a whopping 38 points. Your bench was against the Lions. How does it feel knowing that everybody on your team, it's not just the starting 5, it's not just even 7 or 8 or 9, everybody has the ability to get it done?
It's a good feeling because, you know, some nights some guys are playing better than others. Some nights guys, matchups fit better. You know, there are nights when, for example, a guy like Kyle Wolf who can really shoot the basketball and can drive it to the hole a little bit. There are some nights where matchups are in his favor, and there's other nights where maybe they're not. Same thing with a guy like Deck, Dylan Deck. You know, if he's got a postman guarding him that we think we can take advantage of, then you can throw the ball to him. This team has done a great job of adjusting, and we have tried to accentuate different guys in each game that we felt like had an advantage over the opponent. And because of our depth, we've been able to do that. You know, Magjosh will step up some nights and knock down 3 or 4 threes. You know, so coming off the bench, we've been pretty good. Again, we go back to Jordan. You know, Jordan made, I think he had, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 points in this game. You know, he stepped up and made some big shots for us in the second half when we needed it. So the depth we've been able to establish has really helped us. And it's a product of early in the season. We had guys hurt. You know, we had guys that weren't ready to play yet, and we had to play a lot of guys. And now hopefully that'll pay off.
I think it will pay off, Coach, pay off for you guys. I want to talk about Hamrick real quick now. Now, Katie had the chance to catch up with him. 6 of 11 from the field, 14 points. He played 34 minutes in that game. That's a lot of minutes.
Well, he's a guy that we, you know, he and Dalen and Deck are the 3 guys that I think that, you know, we need to have on the floor as much as possible. They're experienced. All 3 of them are experienced. You know, 2 of them are seniors. You know, Dylan's a junior, but he's played a couple of years. And having Chuck in the game is an advantage, not just from an offensive standpoint, but we like to, you know, Chuck's a guy who can make some things happen defensively, and he's done that all year. In this particular game, I thought he was very effective on the defensive end as well as being able to score whatever it was, 14 points. So he's kind of a guy you feel comfortable with in the game. He's in good shape. He can play a lot of minutes, and he can make things happen.
Talking about making things happen, your team clearly did, winning 82-76. I want to talk about your field goal percentage. You guys were 49.2% on the game, not exactly above 50, but how was it being able to get the job done there with that percentage?
Well, again, you know, we're trying not to just settle for 3-point shots because we didn't shoot the ball particularly well from 3. Trying to develop maybe a little bit more of a mid-range and a game at the basket. And we've done that. We've been able to do that by, you know, our post guys have been effective. We've been able to drive the ball to the basket. Been able to get some second shots, some rebounds, some offensive rebounds. You know, we've really preached that. We feel like we've got some athletes that can make some plays and get some offensive rebounds, and that's something we've talked about a lot at practice. especially against certain teams. And we were able to do that a little bit against Lindenwood.
Well, and they scored around their season average of 76, points for the season. Who really on their team stepped up big and was a challenge for you guys?
Oh, I think their guards. I think Tyler Russell really shot the ball well for them. Brandon Marquardt. They shot the ball much better from the perimeter, and they're a three-point shooting team. They shot the ball much better this game than they did when they were here, and obviously they were home and they had a nice crowd. But I thought those guys really made plays. I thought we did a good job on their point guard, Darius Smith. He's a good player, probably one of the better point guards in our league. And going into the game, that was a guy we wanted to try to contain, maybe not stop, but at least contain. And we were able to do that.
Certainly, and you guys were, and you did. Is there anything that your team has not been doing a good job on that your guys need to improve on?
Oh, I think we can always get better at free throw shooting. We have not been a good free throw shooting team. I think we're one of the worst in the league, to be honest with you. But something we've worked on. I think a lot of it has to do with focus and concentration. I think that's one area. I didn't think our defense was particularly great in this game. We always try to keep guys under 70, 68 points is kind of the number we use. I thought we went through a stretch, especially late in the first half, early in the second half, where we really couldn't get anything done on offense or defense, and it let them get back in the game. This is a game where we had a big lead. We had a 14 or 16 point lead. We blew it, and then we were able to rebound there at the end and make enough plays to win the game.
You guys only have 3 games left for the regular season. How are you guys planning on maintaining the energy you guys have had as of late?
Well, we're trying to practice a little bit less or a little bit shorter, not less. Trying to keep our guys fresh. The good thing about being where we're at now is, we're playing in February and we're significant. I mean, we got conference championship possibility, conference tournament, national tournament. So it's not particularly hard to keep the guys enthused about basketball. But as a coach, I think you got to be careful. You can't work them too hard in February, especially we've got a lot of games coming up here. We got the games left, the 3 games left in the regular season, and then hopefully the postseason.
How does it feel to be second in the MIAA standings right now?
Well, not quite as good as it would be if we were in first, but better than if we're in third. I think that I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to that at this point. I know that if we win the rest of our games, we'll at least tie for the conference championship. As you look at it, you're playing for seeding. You're playing for, if you're the 2 seed in the conference tournament, who do you play? But we really just kind of do the old 1 game at a time thing. And we know that if we win Saturday against Southwest Baptist, then we'll be that much closer to maybe having the opportunity to play for a conference championship next Saturday.
You guys have 2 big games coming up. Your next game is against Southwest Baptist in Bolivar, like you just said. How are you guys preparing for that game?
Well, good team that came in here and played us pretty well. They're a 3-point shooting team. They like to shoot the 3. Got a really good inside man. 2 of them actually, Desi Barmore, Jaywan Hill. Both of those guys are very capable. They're a little bit smaller, a little bit quicker, a little bit more active maybe than our guys. We always feel like when we play these guys, you've got to do a good job on their perimeter, because if they get going from the perimeter, they'll put up 100 points, and I don't know that we can put up 100 points. So defense will definitely be a key.
All right, real quick, your next game is against Missouri Western after that. What's going on there?
Well, they're a team that started off the season very strong. They haven't played as well lately, but we're going there. Got a new coach, good coach, solid team. It's a game that you've got to go in and be ready to play. And if you play your game, then you'll have a chance to win. If you go in there and you don't play well, then they'll beat you. Every team in this league is good. So, some of their records aren't as good, but they're all good. So you just got to be prepared for every game.
Well, that's all the time we have, Coach. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for your time. The Mules Wrestling Spotlight is coming up, and Devin Negretti gives us an inside look at Jennies basketball. Don't go away. Welcome back to the UCM Sports Page. #1 ranked Frank Cagnina was the champion at 149 pounds at the MIAA Championships. Here's the Sports Page Spotlight on Frank Cagnina.
This year's team is something new, you know. Just kind of different, but same principles. Like just wrestling hard, practicing a lot, lifting in the morning, wrestling. Just, I don't know, good intensity. Well, I wasn't here last year, but I mean, I think we're coming together as a team, you know, as the year progresses. Like, been traveling a lot, so like, you know, we're getting like closer as a team. And that's good, you know, we need that for next year if we're gonna compete. I think we have a good relationship, you know. They're kind of like younger guys, so they understand, you know, a little more lenient, but they're strict in the same way, you know, like they want you to do everything right, so. I mean, yeah, sometimes we do like things like to get together as a team, but usually we're together so much like during practice and stuff like that, like you kind of want a little break, you know. I got started like when I was younger. My dad got me into the sport, and I don't know. I just kind of liked what the sport offers, you know. And it's just fun, you know. It's something I'm good at, and that's it. I think I consider myself superstitious. Just certain routines, like before matches and like stuff that I do. You know, like sometimes you get a little superstitious. Like if you don't do this, I might lose, but I don't know. Try to keep it the same, you know. Right now, I'll probably just focus on like the little things, like small little details. Just continue to get strong, and I don't know, just, you know, having a like good mindset going into the postseason. Well, the coach called me up one day, and like we talked for a while, and then came and visited the school, and I liked it. I think just a bunch of my coaches back home, you know, just showed me that I just like be a good person and like the proper way to do things, and you know, taught me a lot about wrestling. You know, it's kind of tough sometimes. Like I don't want to, like at the practice, I don't want to go to the library, but it's something you got to do, you know. And well, I got it's mandatory 3 days a week, so just get it in and try to don't worry about it too much, you know. I want to win a national title, and you know, that's like the main goal. So just gotta stay focused and do the right things, and should hopefully I'll achieve that.
Cagnina was recently named to the All-MIAA first team. Coming up next, Devin Negretti gives us an inside look at UCM sports results from this past week. Also, she'll sit down with Jennies head basketball coach Dave Slifer. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Sports Page, your home for UCM athletics. Before we talk to Jennies head coach Dave Slifer, let's take a look at the results for this past week. Mules Wrestling placed 5th at the MIAA Championship with 43.5 points on February 16th in Hays, Kansas. Frank Cagnina was conference champion at 149 pounds. Softball hit the road on February 14th through the 16th to Bentonville, Arkansas to compete in the Arkansas Monticello Softball Classic. The Jennies fell to Quincy University in the first game but came back and defeated Henderson State. The Jennies then defeated William Jewell by 2 and Arkansas Tech by 8. The final day, the Jennies fell to both University of Missouri St. Louis and University of Illinois Springfield. The Jennies are now 5-5 overall. UCM Track and Field competed at the Grand Valley State University Big Meet February 14th and 15th. Ross Lorber placed second in the 600-meter run, while Madison Smith had a provisional mark and placed second in the high jump. UCM had 10 provisional marks overall. That's all for this past week of events. Now let's take a look at a few highlights from the Jennies basketball game against the Lindenwood Lady Lions by our sideline reporter, Brianna Blocker.
Hi, I'm Brianna Blocker, and I'm here at the Highland Arena in St. Charles, Missouri, where the Central Missouri Jennies faced off the Lindenwood Lions. Let's take a look at the highlights.
The Jennies, they came into the game strong immediately after tip-off, earning first possession. The offense did a good job of spreading out the defense, allowing the lane to open up. They demonstrate a lot of teamwork, and it pays off with points on the board right away. The ladies did an awesome job switching up their plays, which kept Lindenwood defense guessing. New starting point Brianna Embray doesn't disappoint the team. She's well-rounded and unselfish, allowing herself and her teammates to score. She has the ability to put it in outside the arch. Here we have Brianna Lewis putting another 3 points on the board. Winkleman did an awesome job at taking chances and maneuvering around the defense. That way, she could get in the lane, forcing her way around the defense. Brianna Embray goes for the shot, while Rivonia Howard gets the rebound and scores the basket. Though just last year, Winkleman was out with a knee injury, she doesn't allow that to hold her back. She's back and quicker than ever, putting up a total of 10 points, 4 of which were 3-pointers. Defense has a hard time with keeping up with her. She's aggressive both inside and outside the paint. Brianna Lewis, a major asset to the team, again, scoring outside the paint, accumulated 11 points total in the first half, 6 of which were 3-pointers. She's fast and aggressive, and always there to score. She brings her best to every game, repeatedly scoring, putting a lot of points on the board. Here we have number 24, Rio Watley, assisted by Shelby Winkleman, putting up a 3-pointer, following another one downtown by Lewis. Quinicia Twine and Prairie Chief demonstrate excellent teamwork, while Twine goes for the 3-pointer. She is an underestimated player, but never ceases to surprise on the court. Another assist from Prairie Chief sets up Kiana Flex for a layup in the paint. Those are the kind of points that really matter and keep the team ahead. The Jennies defense is a driving force that keeps the other team on their toes. Kiana Flex steals the ball and gives it to Quinicia Twine, who goes up for a 3-pointer. Kiana, showing her dominance, goes up for a layup, placing 2 of the 11 points she scored for the night. Twine, always available outside the paint, scores another 3-pointer. The Jennies kept a dominating lead over Lindenwood, having a halftime score of 51-37. Jennies kept their momentum. They came back and played hard. Here, we have Brianna Lewis, putting up another 2 points for the night. Rivonia Howard demonstrates her power under the basket, neutralizes the defense with an assist from Embray. The Jennies offense turned Lindenwood's defense down, making the man coverage difficult, allowing a lot of important outside shots to be taken. Their hustle on both sides of the court persisted to their advantages, leaving Lindenwood in the dust. Layup after layup and 3-pointer after 3-pointer, the Jennies were relentless and dominated the court, pulling out a victory of 88-69.
The Jennies came away tonight with the win against the Lindenwood Lions of 88-69. Joining me now is Brianna Embray. Hi, Brianna.
Hi, how are you?
All right, so knowing that you came short by just 1 point last time we played the Lions, how important was the game today?
The game was very important. You know, we're tied for first place in the conference with Emporia, so every game at this point in the season counts, so this one really meant a lot to us.
How did you guys feel going into today's game? Were you anxious or nervous, and why?
Today, we felt pretty confident and anxious going into the game because, you know, they did beat us at home, and that's not something we had a bad taste in our mouth about that. So we really wanted to come out here, you know, and prove a point and show, you know, that we're the more prepared team.
You had a lot of strength outside the paint. What contributed to that?
Basically, they were doubling our best players, you know, Kiana Flax, Rivonia Howard, so it left our perimeter players open, and they got it to the open players, and we knocked down shots as a group.
Now that you're starting, does the coach's confidence in you make you play harder?
It does, you know, because I want to defend my spot. I want to prove to them, you know, they made the right decision by putting me out there.
Do you have any thoughts about the game?
I think we all came out and played really hard. Everybody was passing the ball, moving the ball, playing great defense, knocking down shots. I think as a team, we really came together to get this win today.
Thank you so much, Brianna.
Thank you.
I'm Brianna Blocker, reporting for SportsPage.
The Jennies defeated the Lady Lions 88-69 with Brianna Lewis scoring 22 of those points and Ravanya Howard assisting with 12 rebounds. Now joining me is Jennies head coach Dave Slifer. Welcome back to SportsPage, Coach.
Hey, it's good to be here, Devin.
Great. Coach, congratulations on clinching a bye for the conference quarterfinals. You had a great game against Lindenwood. What changed from the loss you had against them back in January?
Well, in January, we went through a tough stretch. We played Lincoln on the road and barely won by 1 point, which is a game we could have lost. And then we ended up coming back home and had a nice 21-game home winning streak to Lindenwood, first place in the conference. And as I think it was their assistant coach said, but after the game, we were in the locker room after we'd got beat by Lindenwood, and we could hear them talk. And I think we heard an assistant coach say they came into the game in first place, but they didn't leave the game in first place. And so it was a tough loss for us, and our kids were really fired up and ready to go. And I was very proud of the way we played. I thought we played with a lot of confidence, a lot of poise. I was glad to hear Brianna Embray say that she wanted to start and that she wanted to defend that spot on the spotlight we just had on her. So that was neat to see because she is a young lady that earned it and is doing very, very well right now.
Well, and speaking of her, she, as you said, she really stood out with a career high of 15 points and was 5 of 7 in field goals. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, we have not scored a lot of threes from the point guard position. Andy Whalert's made a few. Brielle Watley just had cooled off from the point guard position, hadn't scored a lot. And against Northwest Missouri State, they played off of our points and didn't even guard our point guards and kind of doubled Kiana Flax. Well, with Breezy scoring her 5 for 7, and all those were three-point shots. She knocked down after shot, and if we can get those, that's quite a bonus. Now, she's not always going to shoot 5 for 7. We all know that, but she is a threat now, and I think other teams are going to take notice and say, you know what, the kid is capable of making 2 or 3, maybe 4, and all the way up to 5 three-point shots in a game. So they're going to have to guard it, which extends the court for Flax. And what we need is more space for Flax. And Flax started the game off the first play with a three-point shot. She hadn't made a 3 in 7 games, so it was good to see her do that.
How does Brianna Embry, how does she prep herself and practice for those shots?
Well, we break down a lot where the posts go to one end, and Coach asked my wife, Tammy Slifer's got the post, and Josh Keister, our assistant coach, associate coach, whatever you want to call him, he's a head recruiter, and he has done a great job recruiting a lot of very, very good players in this program right now. And he takes the perimeter kids. And he was an old three-point shooter from his college days. So they work, and they have about 10 to 15 minutes every day that they get to really coach it up and get to know the kids. And Breezy every day shoots a bunch of threes, and eventually it kind of goes in cycles. I mean, this whole thing does, where you're playing very, very well, then all of a sudden in January you come through against Lincoln and Lindenwood, and all of a sudden we're not playing as well. And it's just like the same thing, the three-point shooting. Breezy the other night couldn't miss, felt great about it. And then there's other times where, you know what, she can't hit a shot, and she doesn't shoot it. And she doesn't need to shoot a lot of shots. So she knows that. She's adhered to her role very, very well.
Another outstanding player you had was Ravanya Howard. As I mentioned earlier, she had 12 rebounds, 6 on offense, 6 on defense. How did that help the Jennies throughout the game?
Well, Revo is what we call her, and she has done a great job all year long on the boards. And we've had a problem on the defensive boards. There's been a few games when if Revo didn't get the rebound, we weren't going to rebound very well. And so fortunately, our other kids right now are starting to do a little bit better job of getting some defensive boards. But Revo is playing with as much confidence right now as she's played all year long. In fact, I was out eating lunch with a booster yesterday, and the booster said, well, I'll tell you who my most improved player is, and it's not even close, and that's Ravanya Howard, because at the first of the year, to be quite honest, she didn't play a lot because she fouled so much. And now she's starting to learn how to play without fouling, getting more minutes in, and we've got to have her in there to get some defensive boards. And the other night with the 6 offensive rebounds was very impressive also.
The Jennies were doing great with 10 minutes left in the first half and leading the game by 9 points. But then the Lady Lions went on a run to get back in the game with less than 5 minutes left in the half and letting the Lady Lions tie the game. What happened there in those 5 minutes?
Well, basketball is a game of runs, and anytime you go on the road or at home, you're playing against good players, and the math just works out sometimes where they're going to make a run, they're going to catch you, and the run that we made after that was the most unbelievable run. We were so good at the end of the first half and the start of the second half that I felt like that. Going into the halftime, we were up, was it 14, 51, 37, and it was just a deal where everybody felt confident. Everybody was making the extra pass. We were playing unselfish, and it's a kind of fun game to play whenever you're playing unselfish and you're playing with that much confidence.
And how did you make that adjustment? Because you had a 14-0 run, like within the next 3.5 minutes, like towards the end of the half. How did you change that adjustment?
If I knew the answer to that, we would never have those runs where you get beat. And that's just the nature of the game. And that's just the way basketball's played. And I don't care what level it is, that's what happens. You go on runs of where you get hot and where you're confident, and you go on runs where the other team gets hot. And fortunately, we had a couple of those very, very good runs. And it all started at that 5-minute mark that you talked about, and we just rolled. And then at the start of the second half was about as good. I didn't want to take anybody out. I wanted to have everybody stay in there as long as they could because we were rolling along pretty well.
Did you say anything to motivate the players at that 5-minute mark that just kind of something just triggered in them and they were just ready and ready to go?
I wish if I was that smart, I would always say the right things. So no, it was a situation where I think Breezy hit a 3 or 2 right there during that stretch, and Bree Lewis right now is locked in and is playing by far the best basketball that she's played all year long, and she is playing so well that we've nominated Kiana Flax and Bree Lewis for All-American, and that's going to be tough for Bree Lewis to get it, but I felt like that the way she's played in the last few weeks, she's certainly deserved it.
Now, the Jennies, they hit the road once again, but this time they're headed to Bolivar, Missouri on February 22nd to face the Southwest Baptist Bearcats, who they played just 2 weeks ago and defeated them by 3. What are you most looking forward to in that game?
Last year, we were 21-2, had won 8 games in a row when we went down to Bolivar and got beat by 10 points. We only scored 52 points and did not play very well. And I kind of, every once in a while, you kind of forget about what the game was. Well, I pulled up a videotape from it, and I noticed that there was a little subcategory called techs, and it was plural. And so I played it, and it was a clip where Nicole Caudell had gotten the ball in the post and made a nice drop step and scored the bucket. The 2 refs looked at each other, and all of a sudden they called a charge on her. We ended up, Nicole got a technical, I got a technical. We never could quite recover from that.
During the last minutes of that game, the Jennies and Bearcats, they were trailing each other off and on by at most 4 points. Do you plan to solve that problem, or how do you plan to solve that problem in the upcoming game?
Well, we've got to be able to score, and Southwest Baptist has got a couple very good players. They're going to score some points, but the whole key is we have to score in the high 60s, 70s to win this game, and that's what we couldn't do down there last year. And we've had some trouble down there. I mean, that's a nice, tough place to play. It's kind of a closer gym than we're used to, and it just seems like the court's smaller and there's not as much space to work with. So we've got to do a great job of making sure that we are ready to play and ready to score.
One more question before you go. you also, after that, on February 26th, you head to Missouri Western to play against them for the second time, only this time on our turf, or I mean on their turf. Last time it was 71-65. How do you plan to attack that this time around?
I was kind of surprised that they scored 65 points on us, because it seems like they scored only on layups and free throws. So we've got to do a great job of packing it in and making sure that we make them shoot the ball from outside some, quit fouling them, and certainly don't give them second chance layups. And felt like that's what we did the whole time, is give them easy shots inside to make it a close game.
All right, Coach, thanks so much. Thanks for joining us again. And up next, we'll have a spotlight from the 30th reunion of the Mules and Jennies 1983-84 NCAA Division II Basketball Championship. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Page. Last month, UCM Athletics hosted the 30-year reunion of the Mules and Jennies 1983-84 basketball teams. In that year, both teams won the NCAA championship game on the same night. We get to hear about that night from Mules Hall of Fame inductee Brian Pisco and Jennies MVP Carla Eads. Let's take a look.
Before has one school captured both the men's and women's titles in the same year.
We are at the 30th reunion of the national championship teams, the Mules and the Jennies, 1983-1984.
We started today with a luncheon at noon, and then we'll go to the men and the women's basketball games. I think we're being honored at halftime of the men's game, and then there's a reception directly after the men's game at the clubhouse at the golf course. I have lots of good memories from the 1984 season. Obviously the best one being winning the national championship. On that particular night, the men's game, they played their championship game first, and it was live on ESPN, and ours was tape delayed. And so we had kind of been favored all year. We were supposed to do well, but the men weren't. And so for them to go first and to actually win the national championship put a little bit of pressure on us, like, oh my gosh. So we got to celebrate a little bit with them because obviously we were preparing for our game. But then for the men to come rushing onto the floor after our championship, back to back, was really exciting. And I'll just never forget that moment of our men's team running onto the floor with our fans and celebrating a double championship in the same gym on the same day. It was just unbelievable.
I think just the fact that every place we went, we were ranked in the top 2 or 3 in the nation, and just the big deal of coming to each town and the big crowds, and then the girls being, we were both ranked in the top 3 or 4, and just a lot of excitement, before every game, and just the whole atmosphere was great. And Central was always a great basketball town, and that's one of the things that I remember is the fans were supported us so well, and got behind us and made it really a lot of fun.
My advice to the Jennies basketball team would be to always play as a team and to utilize each other's strengths and to help cover up your teammates' weaknesses.
I think it would be to keep working hard. Anything's possible. We always thought we could do it, and Coach really, every opportunity you get, put it out there, and even in practice and games, and continue to get better, and good things will happen if you have that attitude. When I came here, just want to be a part of a team, and fit in and do my job, and then to win a national championship, and then to be inducted into this Hall of Fame. Such a great school, great basketball school, is a great honor. And I owe everything to my teammates and coaches, because that's why it was possible for me to have this honor.
I have many good memories of the Berg. I love coming back here, and I laugh that the house that I lived in 30 years ago is still there and is still occupied. It is also fun to see the changes, the improvements on the campus, the new things. I mean, the football stadium is completely renovated. I think most of my memories though from Warrensburg, honestly, are the people. A lot of them diehard fans that are still fans today, and the friendships that I made while I was here.
I think when we came back to town after the double national championship, you know, the excitement around town. You know, you were a celebrity for a few days, so that was really neat. Everybody knew you, and everybody was real fired up. We had a real nice assembly, and that kind of stands out.
To come back and to see my teammates after 30 years is a lot of fun. Surprisingly, I recognize most of them, because you would think, you know, a lot of things have changed over the years, but it's almost like time, you know, no time has passed, and we can pick up almost right where we left off.
Well, I'd like to see more of them, but everybody lives so far away, but it's nice, and you know, it's good to hear stories and see people hear about their families and everything, and it's been a while. We haven't got together very much, so it's extra exciting, I guess, because we haven't seen each other. You got a great thing going here in Central Missouri, and you know, I coach basketball, and if I think there's anybody that has a chance to play here, that's a great town. It's a great school. They have a great facility. It's a basketball town, and just glad I had an opportunity to be a part of it.
I would just like to say to the students at Warrensburg that, you know, enjoy your time here. Take advantage of the small town atmosphere and the relationships and friendships that you make, because they are for a lifetime. It might not seem like that now, but it is, I can tell you that. And also to get out and support the teams. You know, that we have good competitive teams here in Warrensburg, and take advantage of that. Get involved, go out and cheer them on.
And congratulations to both teams in making a night of UCM history. Up next, Alex will give you the rundown on all the upcoming Mules and Jennies events. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Here's a look at the upcoming schedules. Mules basketball will tip off at 3:30 p.m. on February 22nd in Bolivar, Missouri against the Southwest Bearcats. The Mules won 69-56 at home in their last meeting on February 6th. February 26th, the Mules go to St. Joseph, Missouri to take on Missouri Western at 7:30 p.m. The Mules won in their last meeting 81-63. Jennies basketball will tip off at 1 p.m. on February 22nd in Bolivar against the Southwest Bearcats. The Jennies won in a close one 67-64 in their last meeting on February 6th. February 26th, the Jennies travel to St. Joe, Missouri to play Missouri Western. The tip-off is at 5:30 p.m. The Jennies won in their last game 71-65. UCM track and field teams will host the UCM Classic in the Multipurpose Building on February 21st at 2 p.m. The meet will be broadcast on the UCM Media Network. The fifth-ranked Jennies will host the Mid-America Individual Championships in Warrensburg on February 27th at 6 p.m. Mules baseball will have a 3-game homestand against the Southwest Bearcats. The games will be played February 21st through February 23rd. And with that, we conclude this edition of the UCM Sports Page. Tune in next week to learn more on the UCM Mules and Jennies athletics. Until then, for our entire crew, this is Alex Greenlee
and Devin Negretti saying thanks for watching the UCM Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS.
Support for Sports Page is provided by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs, campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.